You got the thing you wanted. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, more money, a better apartment, something you spent months, maybe years, chasing. And for a moment, it felt good. Then it stopped, and almost immediately, without even realizing it, your brain started looking for the next thing. No celebration, no rest, just searching again. That's not a personal failure. That's not weakness. That's not ingratitude. That is your brain working exactly as it was designed to. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your own desires the same way again. In 1978, two researchers named Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell noticed something deeply strange about human beings. They studied lottery winners. People who had won hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. Life-changing money. The kind of money most people spend their whole lives dreaming about. And they expected to find the happiest people on earth. Instead, they found something that made no sense. Within 1 year of winning, lottery winners reported the same levels of happiness as before they won anything. The money didn't move the needle, not permanently. But here's where it gets even stranger. They also studied people who had suffered serious accidents, people who became paralyzed, who lost the use of their legs. And within that same 1 year period, those people also returned to roughly the same happiness levels as before their accident. Up or down, win or lose, the human mind drifts back. Brickman and Campbell called this the Hedonic Treadmill. You run, you work, you chase. You finally get there. And the treadmill just speeds up, because your brain doesn't measure happiness on a fixed scale. It measures happiness relative to whatever your new normal is. Get a raise. The raise becomes the new baseline. Now you want more. Move into a bigger house. The house becomes normal within weeks. Now it just feels like home. Buy the car? The excitement lasts maybe 3 months. Then it's just a car. Your brain adapts. Every single time. Without asking your permission. Here's the part that most people never hear. This isn't a design flaw. This is the most successful survival feature the human brain ever developed. Think about your ancestors, not your grandparents. Go back further. Tens of thousands of years back. A human being sitting on a flat open plain. If that human caught an animal and felt completely satisfied, truly content, what would they do next? They'd rest. They'd stop hunting. They'd stop moving. They'd stop building. And within days, they'd be dead. The brain that survived, the brain that got passed down through every generation until it landed inside your skull, was the brain that always said, "Good." Now what's next? Satisfaction was a death sentence. Dissatisfaction was survival. Every human alive today is descended from the most restless, most driven, most perpetually unsatisfied people who ever lived. You didn't inherit contentment. You inherited hunger. And that hunger built civilizations. It built cities, medicine, technology, art. Every great thing humans ever created came from a brain that refused to accept that what existed was enough. The same mechanism that makes you scroll endlessly at midnight built the pyramids. The same restlessness that makes you feel empty after achieving a goal put humans on the moon. Your dissatisfaction is ancient. And it is extraordinarily powerful. But here's where the design starts to work against you in the modern world. Your brain was built for a world of genuine scarcity. A world where food was rare, shelter was temporary, and danger was everywhere. In that world, dissatisfaction made perfect sense. There was always a real problem to solve. But you don't live in that world. You live in a world where almost everything you could ever want is available. Instantly. Food at the tap of a screen. Entertainment that never ends. Connections with thousands of people without leaving your room. And your ancient brain, still running the same programming from 50,000 years ago, doesn't know what to do with that. So it does the only thing it knows. It adapts to the abundance. And then it wants more abundance. You watch one show, you need another. You buy one thing, you need the next version. You reach one level, you immediately focus on the level above. Psychologists call this adaptation. The world upgrades. Your expectations upgrade faster. And the gap between what you have and what you want never closes. Because the moment you close it, your brain moves the target. There's a term for this in behavioral psychology, the arrival fallacy. The belief that once you arrive at a certain destination, once you get the thing, you will finally feel complete. But arrival never feels the way you imagined it, because by the time you get there, you're already a different person with different wants than the person who set the goal. The destination you reach is never the destination you dreamed of, because the dreaming version of you no longer exists by the time you arrive. And then there's one more layer. One more thing your brain does that makes all of this significantly worse. It compares. Constantly. Automatically. Without your consent. In 1954, psychologist Leon Festinger proposed something called social comparison theory. The idea that humans don't evaluate their lives on an absolute scale. They evaluate their lives by looking at other people, not just whether you have enough, but whether you have more or less than the person next to you. In a village of 100 people, you knew exactly where you stood. You compared yourself to your neighbors, your cousins, the people you could actually see. Now you compare yourself to everyone. 8 billion people, the wealthiest, the most beautiful, the most successful, all visible on a screen in your pocket, and your brain treats those comparisons as real. It doesn't understand that the person on your screen represents the top fraction of a percent of all humans. It just registers. They have more. You have less. You are behind. And the hunger activates again. Not because your life got worse, but because your reference point just expanded to include the entire world. So where does that leave you? Knowing this doesn't stop it. The treadmill doesn't turn off just because you understand it. But here's what changes. When you feel that restlessness again, that gnawing feeling that what you have isn't enough, you can recognize it for what it actually is. Not a signal that something is wrong with your life, not evidence that you failed, not proof that you need more. It's an ancient survival mechanism doing its job in a world it was never designed for. The most content people alive aren't the people who got everything they wanted. They're the people who learned to watch the treadmill, without always running on it. They still want things. They still pursue things. But they catch themselves in the moment of arrival. They pause. They let themselves actually be there, before the brain starts looking for the next door. That pause is everything. Because the goal was never to stop being human. It was to stop being unconsciously human. You were built to never be satisfied. The question is, who's in control of that?